Hey, you over there. Yeah, I see you. You're thinking about starting your own podcast, aren't you? Well, if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain because I have some experience here. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Totally free to record, edit, and distribute your podcast. It doesn't get any better than that. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey everyone, it's Ayana. How are you? Welcome to episode 4 of Ayana Explains It All, the podcast where I gather you together through information, or I fix you by providing you with the information you could know if you would just use a search engine before you post online. But people don't, and they go around using words like toxic and narcissist erroneously. That's another word you should look up, erroneously, and they make a fool of themselves. So hopefully through this podcast, you learn a little bit and you don't end up making a plumb fool of yourself. And I hope you had a great week. I had a fantastic week, and it ended today with my daughter's 14th birthday. Happy birthday, Zahra. I don't know how she's going to hear that, but because she's not allowed to listen to my podcast. But if she happens upon it some way, somehow, she'll hear that. I love her. Happy birthday, baby girl. And I always want to start everything with a Bismillah because God is the reason why I'm here and doing this. He gave me the courage. He gave me all the things. And so just want to say that, Bismillah. And last week we talked about codependency. If you guys will recall, we talked about how narcissists prey on codependents. They really latch on to them because these are the people who are, in many points of their life, they're at their weakest point. Their self-esteem is low. They're already out there working to fix people and help people. And narcissists see this and they're like, yes, somebody I can use. So when I was a kid, well into my teenage years, I thought that I was the ugliest person on earth. Let's just put it out there. Physically unattractive is what I believed about myself. I had cystic acne, full nose, full lips, big, beautiful lips, by the way, and a gap in my teeth. Yeah, front gap, inherited from my dad. Can't do anything about it unless I get braces, which I didn't get until I was 41 years old. But until then, until recently, I did not see any beauty in myself. I kept my head in my books and was a straight academic for years. Junior high, elementary, high school, college, law school. That's all I did. Keep my head in books. You know, I messed around, got married, but mostly I was in the books because I knew that I had to be smart because I wasn't pretty. I wasn't going to get by being pretty. I had to get by being smart. It wasn't until I was in my 30s that I started to wear makeup more. I had worn it a little bit in my 20s, wasn't really feeling it. And then in my 30s, I was like, yes, I want to do this. I'm playing around with it. And I'm, doing different looks. When I was a kid, I would wear my hijab different ways. Like I would wear it up or I would wear it to the side. I would do all of these different things just to experiment, just to stand out because I grew up in an Islamic community where all of the girls and the women were wearing hijab. So I wanted to feel special. I wanted to feel different. So I would style it different ways. And if you follow me on social media, then you know that I love selfies. I love them. I love them so much. I take one at least once a week. And it's fine. It's a little bit of, a pick me up. It's nice when you're out there, serving looks, or you're having fun and you just want to share what you are or who you are with the world. And I appreciate it when people show me love and they pay me compliments. I love it. It's wonderful. And I return the love. I mean, all of my friends are good looking, gorgeous people, men, women, they're all beautiful. I love every single thing that people say to me about myself. I love it. It's great. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. I am very appreciative. And you see that right there? That's narcissism. Yeah, that's narcissism. That little bit of high self-esteem, that value that you see in yourself, think that you're good looking, you believe that you're, high functioning, and you are probably high functioning, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're smart, you're worthy of attention, you think that you are the shit. That's narcissism. But there is healthy narcissism, which is just humans being humans. It's in human nature to want attention, to want kudos for doing a good job, for people to notice you, for people to say, oh, your makeup looks good, or your hijab is cute, or your shoes look good, or hey, man, I like that suit you're wearing. And you go, oh, okay, yeah, I got this at so-and-so store. Yeah, I like this color. This is my favorite color. It looks good on me, right? That is human nature. It's human nature to want attention. It's human nature to pay people compliments. It's human nature to want compliments. It's human nature. But there is that pathological, that toxic narcissism is what we use to put other people down while we're propping ourselves up. I hear people use the buzzword toxic a lot to describe behavior that hurts them. But truthfully, toxic human behavior applies to narrow categories of all people. Yet each of us has probably been a little bit toxic to another person, or the victim of some toxic behavior. For instance, here, toxic narcissists, they're different. And I'm going to get to say that word correctly. My tongue gets so tight saying narcissist. There are like 4 S's in that word. And my goodness, thank God I got my teeth fixed, because I would not be able to say that word if I had all those spaces still in my teeth. But so when you talk about yourself, when you're thinking about yourself, and you say that your self-esteem is high and you feel good about yourself and you love yourself, that's great. That's wonderful. But when you go and you put other people down to prop yourself up, or you see yourself as the most important person on earth, or even in your life, when you're praising yourself, when you're, being self-centered at the expense of others, like you could be a high-functioning person can be a bit bossy, self-centered, but we know our limits. The ones who are not the monsters, we know our limits. And we're sensitive to everyone else's. The toxic narcissist, however, is not sensitive to anyone's needs, wants, or desires. Toxic narcissists can be jealous people, energy vampires. Of course, they're compulsive liars. They lie about everything. If they tell you the sky is blue, you need to go outside and check, because they're probably lying about that. But you can't be sure. You don't know. Everything they say is a lie. They lie to get their way. They lie to get their foot in the door. They lie to get, money off at a restaurant. They lie to get affection. They lie in relationships. They lie to their partners. They lie to people they're cheating. I mean, just the lies go on. And of course, when you tell lies, you have to tell other lies to cover up those lies. And that's where toxic narcissism is different than regular narcissism. See, you might tell a little white lie, or you might tell a lie and then feel full regret about it. And then you go back and you make amends. Toxic narcissists, they lie without impunity. They lie with impunity, rather. They lie with impunity. They don't feel any regret. They don't feel any remorse for their actions. When they lie and it hurts people or gets people into trouble, they do not care because they don't have any reason. They don't have any, there's nothing in them. They don't have any empathy when it comes to their behavior and how it affects people. Narcissists feed off of drama. They love it. Oh, they love some good tea. Oh my God, I love some tea. They're sipping on everybody's tea. They're in their tea, the people next door, the people down the street. They're in their mama's tea, their auntie's tea. They're in, their kids, and they're stirring it all up. And not only are they in it, but they're stirring the pot. They're usually in it, stirring the pot, telling lies, whispering, spreading gossip, and they don't feel any kind of ways about it. It could be somebody who's their best friend. It could be, it could be their kid. They don't care. They don't care. And when you're around them, you shrink around these people because they are the star, right? They are the star, and you're a star, but you're a dwarf. You're a little itty bitty baby star that's slowly dying. The scientists at NASA, they're looking at your star and going, ooh, that star's about to die. And then they look next to you. They're like, oh, but look at that bright, beautiful star. And so they focus on that one. Never mind that one is probably the reason why you're dying, why you're dwarfing, because the toxic narcissist minimizes you. They minimize your accomplishments, your pain, your hurt. They use you to prop themselves up. They need to get ahead. They do not need to get along. You ever heard that expression, go along to get along? Narcissists don't need to do that. They have no reason. They're above you. They're above everybody. They're on the next page while you're still here on this page. They're all the way up the street. They're on the stairway to heaven. They're almost at the gates. And they don't care who they had to step on to get there. They don't care what lies they had to tell to get there. They don't care who they had to hurt to get there. They just know that they want to get ahead. They want to be leaders. They want to be in charge. They want to be the boss. They want to be the manager when they're just the employee. Have you ever had a relationship at work with somebody, or, just a coworker relationship where the person acts like they're the manager when they're not? They're just the employee, just like you. They don't work in management. They don't get to tell people what to do, but they're bossing people around. They're telling on people if you take a break that's too long, or if you're not doing the job exactly as you were instructed to do it. They're making sure that you're doing it exactly like how you're supposed to. And they let you know that they've done it exactly how they were supposed to do it, and that they did a good job, and that they're probably going to get some kind of award or kudos, while you're going to be made to feel like an idiot and a fool and all these other things. And they're going to make you look like you're bad in front of the bosses. And it's sickening. It's sickening behavior. They need to get ahead, but they need to be ahead of you is the point. It's not just that they need to get ahead. They need to be in front of a specific person or in front of people who they think are below them. It could be because of race or gender, or it's somebody they figure they can feed off of, like a codependent. Somebody you work with just wants to get ahead of you because they're jealous of you. They don't like you. They don't want to be bothered with you. And the way they can get away from you, maybe even get you fired if they wanted to. So they dispense with friendships. They dispense with family bonds, especially the ones that do not serve them and their immediate need for admiration and power. They're in everything just to get ahead. They're in everything to use people. Everything they're involved in, friendships, working relationships, familial bonds. They'll hang on to familial bonds that are dangerous just to use a person. They may even be abusing that person, but that's what they're in it for. They don't care about maintaining any kind of ties. unless it serves them. So if this person, from last week, if you heard the codependent podcast and you thought to yourself, well, hell, that's me. I'm a codependent. Think about all of the people you latched yourself onto and whether those people were narcissists. So remember, I told you had to detach from people if you wanted to not be a codependent. Think about the people you were latched onto, the people you cared too much about. Chances are one of those people is a narcissist, a toxic, pathological narcissist, and it could be a man or a woman. There are more women in this game than people would believe. We hear narcissism and we automatically think of a powerful man doing this. But no, it could be your mama. It could be your grandmother. It could be your spouse. It could be the manager at work. It could be the person, the barista at your favorite coffee place that you go to every day. It could be the people collecting your trash. It could be your mail. It could be anybody. It could be you. Yeah. You could be the narcissist. Dr. Samantha Boardman, in her online article, Spot a Narcissist Before You Marry, Hire, Date, or Befriend One, because you're going to. She says you have to ask these two questions. Does the person show interest in others? Is one of the main questions. Do they show interest in others? A narcissist will only be interested in a person if it serves them. Pathological narcissists' interest in others as self-serving and viewed through the lens of self-enhancement only. That is the only way that they show interest in others, is through the lens of self-fulfillment or self-enhancement. What can I take from this person? What can I suck out of this person to make myself look good, feel good, look better, be better? And they'll do it. That's the only reason they're in your life. And when they do not achieve their goals, they blame others for their failures or setbacks, right? This is how some abusers are. This is how some abusers are. I abuse you because you make me do this. I just get so crazy. It's my crazy time of year. If you had my dinner ready when I came home, I would not have had to abuse you. If you would just act right, I wouldn't have to talk to you like this. They don't take accountability for their bad acts whatsoever. And they see failure. I didn't get the promotion because of you. If you had just given me the answers to the test, I would have passed. If you had just given me the correct directions to get to the place, I would have made it there on time. I would not have been late, and I would not have missed my appointment. Now, maybe you gave them the correct directions, but they weren't paying attention. Or they decided to make some stops along the way. Either way, they blame you. They don't take accountability for the role they played in it. They blame you. You are the reason for all the things, for all the failures, you see. And then they'll sacrifice you or cut you off. They'll withhold communication. Oh, I'm never speaking to you again. Look at what you made me do. Look at what happened to me because of you. So they'll withhold communication. They'll completely ice you out. You may not hear from them for 6 months or a year, but because you have not cut them off completely, they're free to come back. And they're free to come back into your life and abuse you again, verbally, emotionally, physically, take your money financially. They'll abuse you financially. They'll use every penny. Have you seen this Tinder swindler or this Inventing Anna on Netflix? Where these people just completely drained the bank accounts and caused to go into debt everyday people just living their lives, but somehow they got mixed up. They allowed themselves to be mixed up with these narcissistic, these pathological narcissistic people who told them some lies, told them lies about who they are, where they are. I don't have the money that I need to buy this particular thing, or do you want to invest in this? You should see an investment of so many dollars. Now, when someone promises you a return of a certain amount of money, they're lying. And when someone tells you, hey, I'll give this money back to you in a couple of days, my money's just tied up right now, they're lying. Money doesn't get tied up, okay? Money doesn't get tied up unless you get it out of the bank and you take a shoelace and you tie it around that motherfucker. Money is not tied up. I read a story about these people who had been duped by this woman who pretended to be an heiress from Ireland. And this guy befriended her. They lived in the same apartment complex. And he befriended her, and he and his husband together became very best friends with this woman. And she was always getting into trouble. She was always getting arrested and going to prison. And she didn't have money for bond. And so she would call this guy and he would send money for her bond. And she would always say, oh, once I get my inheritance, this was her story. Once I get my inheritance, it's tied up right now because my father's family, it was her father who, was the wealthy one. My father's family is challenging the will. And so I haven't received my share of the inheritance yet. But once I get it, I promise I'll pay you back. She was always promising to pay him back, always promising to pay him back. And one day, because he finally decided to do some investigative work on his own, he found out that she was a big, fat, lying piece of you-know-what. She was not an heiress. I can't remember if she was even from Ireland. She lied about her name. She lied about where she was from. She lied about what she was in jail for. She just told so many lies, but he had given her all of this money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because he trusted her. He just knew that he was going to get his money back from her because she said it. He had no reason to doubt it, except he had every reason to doubt this. If he had done some basic legwork on this lady, he probably would have found out that she was a scam artist, because this wasn't the first time she had done it. And not only that, if he had done some basic research about families in Ireland, or he could have even called a consulate or whatever, he could have done some work to figure out that this woman was lying. But because she had an apartment, this was in California, she had an apartment in the same apartment complex. I mean, you don't get to live in this place unless you have some money, right? I mean, it has a pool. She must have something. She must have some money. No, she didn't have any money. Not only did she not have any money, but she owed the government money, and she was using the money that he gave her to pay her fines from the federal government. My God. It was incredible. And I know at the end of the story, he said, well, I'll never do this again, and I feel so foolish and stupid. But it's like, you did not ever have to get into this. And I've been there. I know. I've had people take advantage of me because I let them, because I befriended them, because I wanted to help them. I wanted to fix them. I was latched onto them, and I was so, if I can just love them through this, help them through this, and they'll pay me back. Or no, Muslims are so funny. We are so funny. We give money until we are penniless. Because of zakat, which is the poor do, and because of sadaqah, we will give money to anybody who asks. We don't care. We don't care if we haven't seen this person in years. We don't care if they called us on the phone, on the internet. We don't care. We give money because of the blessings we believe we'll receive. And alhamdulillah and inshallah, we'll receive blessings. But a lot of us are taken advantage of. A lot of us use that giving that we are compelled to do, that we are ordered to do. We use that as an excuse for why we allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of. Well, I thought that I was doing the right thing because they really needed help and they seemed so dejected and da-da-da-da-da and on and on. And it's like, common sense, honey. Common sense before hoes, please. You know how they say bros before hoes? Common sense before hoes, really. Come on now. But getting back to narcissism, y'all, please use that. I love that. Common sense before hoes. Please use that. One of the hallmarks of narcissistic personality, the toxic narcissist, the pathological narcissist, is that they lack empathy for others. Now, there are many traits, as I said before, of the toxic narcissist. The energy vampire who sucks all of the life out of you and overwhelms you. The controller tries to control everything around them, makes you feel like you can't do anything right. The compulsive liar tells white lies even constantly, tells big lies, small lies constantly, makes you feel, manipulates and gaslights you. Gaslights, yeah, gaslights. That's the other buzzword that people are using incorrectly. We'll get to that later. They're the master of guilt trips. They're drama magnets. They feed off gossip, as I said before, and drama. And they put you in uncomfortable positions. Have you ever been to a store with someone and they're like, hey, let's go to the mall. Let's go shopping. This person is someone who's always shopping, always coming back with fine things. And then you go to the store with them and you find out how they're getting the fine things. They're shoplifting and you're with them and they've stuffed something in your bag and they've told you, hey, just walk out, just be cool with it. Just walk out with it. And you're like, what? Huh? Who? I don't steal. What do you want me? And they're like, no, just keep when they push you out of the store. You just shoplifted. That's definitely an uncomfortable position because the cops could be coming for you. But they make you feel like you have to do things because they're in a bind. And if you don't do it, then they're going to be in trouble. And it just makes you feel uncomfortable. But also, they're jealous. They can't be happy for other people. They play the victim. They minimize other people to feel better about themselves. Eventually, the toxic narcissist whittles away at you until you are unrecognizable and at their service. And again, they lack empathy. So if you're suffering while you're serving them, they don't care. You better feel better. You better will yourself to get up off your butt and go help them to do the thing that it is they need to do. And listen, as I said before, this could be a parent, a grandparent, a best friend. This could be one of your children even. Yeah, it could be one of your kids. It could be a neighbor. It could be a coworker. And this behavior, as I just said, could be in romantic relationships or non-romantic relationships, but it's present most often in positions of power, the boss employee, or in the romantic relationships, the husband, wife, husband, wife, husband, whatever. It's something that first draws you to this person. You work together. Or you're dating. There's always some initial connection that's so close that you don't question why this is happening to you because you figure, oh, I work with this person, so this is just what I have to put up with. Or I'm in a relationship with them and I love them, and this is just what comes with loving someone. You have to love all of the rough parts of them, all of the rough edges, and this is just what it is. So there's always that initial click. This is even present in cliques in religious communities, churches, masjids, cliques in high school, junior high school. This kind of behavior is present, but there's always that initial connection that is, it's deep or it's present initially. Yeah, initial, exactly. But it makes you feel like this is the reason why I can't get out of this because I work here. What am I going to do? Quit my job? Or I'm married to him. What am I going to do? Get a divorce? What about my kids? I don't want my kids growing up with without their dad or without their mom. I don't want my kids growing up in a broken home. Eventually, however, you have to break out of it because it will kill you. You ever heard the old saying, before something kills you, it drives you crazy? That is what narcissists do. That is what pathological narcissists do. Before they kill you, they drive you crazy. You're caring about them so much that you don't care about yourself. You're not seeing that they're completely eroding your self-esteem, that they're completely breaking you down, that they're completely chipping away at you. They're draining your bank accounts. They've isolated you from your family, isolated you from your friends. They make you feel like you can't go anywhere unless they tell you that's where you can go, because when they call, you need to be there answering the phone. You need to come. You need to show up. Have you ever worked with someone who could not bear that you received kudos from your boss or that you received a promotion or an award? That's the kind of environment I work in. And, you know, there are yearly awards all the time. And if you don't get one, you feel like, oh, well, what did that person do to deserve it? And when someone gets a promotion, what did they do to deserve that? I work harder than them. When I first started in my position, I was always feeling put upon. People were always laying their, well, I can do what you do shit on me. Like they literally believed that they could do it. And I would always say, well, why aren't you doing it? If you could do it, you would be doing it. And their answer would be, oh, well, because I haven't been given the opportunity, or they don't want people like me in that position. But I could definitely do it. I don't see why they hired you. We get that all the time. And then when promotions would open up, oh, well, I mean, I would get promoted, but I haven't, and they would rattle off whatever. And it was always some excuse for why they don't have it and you have it. Why do you? But it's always, why is this happening to you and not happening to me? It should be happening to me. I've worked here longer. I have a college degree, too. I know so-and-so. And it's apparently it's not what you know, it's who you know. You must know somebody. And they never take responsibility for their behavior, their attitude and whatnot that sometimes keeps them from getting awards and promotions. Some people's attitudes just really suck and they don't see it. You see, you're not going to look at yourself and go, wow, I'm a real bitch. Or, wow, you know, I can be a total dick. Maybe this is why I'm not getting ahead. Have you ever been involved with a family member or a friend who abuses you? Verbally, physically, emotionally. I've talked about my history of domestic abuse, and I've talked about my history of sexual abuse in childhood. And I've had to live with people who were abusive to me. This isn't something that's relegated just to children. It happens to adults. We get mired in relationships where we think it's love, where we think we have to be here because of the kids, or where our self-esteem is so low that we don't care that we're being abused. And there were times when I just didn't care. I just wanted to be loved. I wanted to be loved, but I had these narcissists who were whomping on me whenever they got the opportunity, or who were telling me that I wasn't good enough as a human being, or who were telling me what to wear, how to talk, where to go, what to do, who told me all the time my cooking sucked, my, sex was bad, I wasn't a good mother, I was fat, I was ugly, I was this, and on and on and on and on, all these things, because that made them feel better about themselves. It made them feel good to put someone down, especially someone who is like me, who is an attorney, who has a career in law, who has a house, who has whatever it is I have, whatever material possessions they look at as being something worth having. To me, it's just something to get by. It's something for my kids so they can have a nice school system to attend. I'm not looking at things as status symbols. Really, how you treat people, in my opinion, makes you better than the next person. But people will look at what you have and go, oh, well, she has that. She must think she's something. Let me make her feel like she ain't shit. And I spent a lot of time with a lot of men and women. Now, women who made me feel like I ain't shit, because making me feel like I ain't shit made them feel good about themselves. Because I was college educated, or I used to get this one a lot. Oh, you speak so well. You sound just like a white girl. I would get called white girl all the time. White girl, white girl. Because I spoke and I pronounced the ends of my words like I'm talking now. I could talk like I'm from East Cleveland. I could sound like a whatever you want me to sound like. I can sound like I can code switch like a motherfucker. But just because I talk like this doesn't mean I'm trying to escape where I'm from. It doesn't make you any better than me. It doesn't make me any better than you. People who lack confidence in themselves will use you to prop themselves up. They will stand on you, not on your shoulders. They will push you down and stand on you. That lifting as we climb euphemism, they pull the ladder up as they climb. And the people who are at the bottom of the ladder fall off. Narcissists will manipulate you. They will manipulate the fuck out of you to keep you from leaving their tutelage, because you're their conduit to high self-esteem. They use you. They suck the energy out of you. They suck the money out of you. They suck the time out of you. Oh, they will waste the hell out of your time, honey. They will have you doing stuff for hours when you'd rather be doing something else. Narcissists use gaslighting as a tool of manipulation. Now, gaslighting is a pretty serious thing, and recently, I would say within the last 2 years, the masses have discovered gaslighting. Now, I knew about gaslighting years ago because I had watched the movie where gaslighting is mentioned. And if I wasn't such an airhead at this particular time, I could remember the name of the movie. But gaslighting is making another person believe things happened that did not happen in an effort to drive them crazy. Remember? What doesn't kill you first drives you crazy. Not what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. No. Before it kills you, it drives you crazy. And this is the manipulation tool that toxic narcissists use to keep you under them. If they can convince you that you're, crazy and you need them, then you'll stick around. You won't leave. If they can convince you, they make you doubt your good judgment and your self-worth, so you don't believe you're worth anything. So whatever they tell you you're worth, that's what you're worth. Whatever they tell you is good or bad, you believe that it's what is good or bad. Even though somewhere in you, you're like, oh man, this really doesn't seem like the right thing to do. Should I really be doing this? And the toxic narcissist will say, of course you should. What do you mean? What are you, chicken? What are you, a wimp? What is wrong with you? Who raised you? You sure? Yeah. Do the drugs, do the alcohol, go drive under the influence, go steal from the store, go, cheat on your taxes, go cheat on your spouse, go da-da-da-da. They'll have you doing all kinds of crazy shit. And yes, they'll have you doing it. This is the part where you're perhaps not in control of your behavior when you should be in control. You have been debased and degraded and completely eroded to the point where you are doing things that if you were in your right mind, you would not do. And yeah, we're all adults. We're, whatever. We're all in control of our behavior. But there are some people who have been gaslit and controlled. So badly. Their minds have been fucked so badly by narcissists that it's like, wow, who's really in control? You don't know. But this is what narcissists do, especially to codependents. Because codependents are overly sympathetic, caring, giving, severely attached, fixers, worriers, rather. They're not warriors because they don't fight for shit except for the wrong things. And pain addicts, they're easily gaslit. Easily. Gaslighting is that thing that makes you question your own behavior. And when you question your behavior in the presence of a narcissist, they lash out at you. How dare you question me? How dare you ask me or tell me that what I'm doing is wrong? I'm perfectly right, and here are all the reasons. You're just crazy. You're crazy. Who told you that? Whoever told you that is a liar. Don't believe them, believe me. They always circle it back to themselves. Not that they're trying to steer you in the right direction. They're trying to steer you away from good judgment. They're trying to steer you away from questioning things that perhaps other people have said to you. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you want to ask him about that. That sounds crazy. Don't listen to them. Listen to me. Don't hang out with them. Only hang out with me. Don't talk to them. Only talk to me. I don't care what the preacher says at church. I don't care what the imam says. This is how we're going to do it. Who are those people? They don't know anything about what goes on in our house. I don't want you going to church anymore. I don't want you going to the masjid anymore. I don't want you going to work anymore. I want you to change jobs. Those people, they don't know what's best for you. I know what's best for you. You don't even know what's best for you. When you met me, you were wearing rags, and now look at you. You're in Gucci. Yeah, because you guys are cheating on your taxes. You guys are getting that PPP money, and you know it, and you're not doing anything about it because this person over here, the toxic narcissist, convinced you that there's nothing that, you know, that what you're doing is okay. It's okay. No, you're crazy. Please. We're not lying. We're just, fudging the numbers. And when I see the term gaslighting used improperly, after you've heard all of that, when I hear gaslighting used improperly, people miss that there is behavior. One, there is behavior you don't like. And two, there is behavior that is reprehensible and dangerous. When you use gaslighting improperly, you're lumping it all together, and it should not be lumped together because gaslighting is something completely different from somebody saying some shit or doing some shit that you don't like. Or they disagree with you. I've seen this one a lot. You disagree with someone on the internet, on social media, in the comments section, or a post of theirs, you're gaslighting them. And it's like, whoa. No. People who disagree with you are not gaslighting you. People who disagree with you are disagreeing with you. People who are gaslighting you already have power over you. Internet people have no power over you. They only have the power that you give them. And none of these people can have power over you because you know what you can do? Delete, block. Like Cynthia said on Real Housewives. Delete, block. I saw this the other day. Somebody posted something about a rapper, and it was one of the verses she had done for some other rapper. And I said, and I was reading the comments, and the person who posted it was upset that some people did not like the verse and was making all kinds of, you're stupid, you're dumb, what are you talking about kind of responses to people who were saying they don't like it. oh, you must be dumb or whatever. And it was silliness. And I said, are you looking for people to agree with you? Because people are free to not agree. People are also free to keep scrolling. Now, there's that. But if somebody asks you what you think and you say, well, I don't like it, that's okay. And when they tell you why they don't like it, that's not gaslighting. That's just them disagreeing. That's just them having an opinion of their own. That's not gaslighting, because they don't like the same things that you like. And they tell you why they don't like it. That is not gaslighting. Gaslighting is very dangerous, manipulative behavior. And it's a tool of a toxic narcissist. Someone who is probably already abusing you in some way. And you have to be very, very careful if this is happening to you. They probably have already convinced you that you have some kind of mental disorder and you need to get help. You have to be very careful, because you'll be out here going to therapists and doing all kinds of crazy things and taking medicine for things that are not wrong with you. Oh, but my husband said that I can get a little bit crazy when I have PMS. Well, duh. Of course you're going to get crazy. Your hormones are out of whack. Your estrogen is going up and down and up and down and up and down. It goes up so you can have your period, and then the levels drop. And then 2 weeks later, up again, and then down again. So yeah, you're going to be a little out of sorts. A person who doesn't understand that, who rather uses it against you or uses it to put you down, that's toxic narcissism. They don't give a fuck about your hormones. They don't care that it's your time of the month or that you might have PMDD. Yes, some women have really bad PMS, psychotic PMS. Some women have really bad postpartum, psychotic postpartum depression. And instead of showing empathy, there are people who would literally laugh at them or call them crazy or nutty or say they need to be on medication instead of showing empathy. You see, it all goes back to that empathy. Toxic narcissists don't have an ounce, not even a twinge of empathy in them. They don't feel sorry for you. They can't. They don't have the ability. They don't know. And this type of behavior starts for them in childhood. They may have been bullied. They may have been abused. They may have been isolated from people. But for whatever reason, they did not develop the innate ability to care about someone. And codependency, as I said last week, is caring too much. But there is a normal level of care and concern you show for other people, especially when you are the bad actor who did something to hurt them. You show care and concern. Codependent cares too much. A narcissist doesn't give an iota of an ounce of a fuck. When they hurt you, they do not care. When they've used you, when they've taken all of your money, when they've eroded your self-esteem, they will walk away, not apologize, not say they're sorry. They'll look at you and go, well, why did you let me do that? It's like the snake you let in. You know it's a snake and it bites you. Well, you knew I was a snake. Narcissists are also abusive. I've said this. And we know abusers present grand gestures when you try to leave or are in a relationship with a new person. And people will often use narcissism and mental illness to try to explain away abusive behavior. They'll say, like this Kanye West stuff with his soon-to-be ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. He's verbally abusive towards her and emotionally abusive. And I don't care who disagrees with me. You're free to. You're free to disagree. Absolutely. I am not a fan of his at all. He harasses her on the internet. He stalks her. He bought a house across the street from her. He's constantly using his fan base to get riled up against her. That's abuse. And when she chose herself, when she said, I choose myself, what she was saying is, I'm choosing to be free of the toxic narcissism that had kept me down, that had kept me imprisoned for all of these years. Because when I was in this marriage with this man, I could not see myself. I could not take care of myself because everything was about him. Everything was about his wants, his needs, his mental illness. Everything was about him. And he would always do these grand gestures because he did not know how to do the little things, because buying you a brand new car versus going on a drive with you in a car on a Saturday afternoon, he couldn't do it. Here's the car and here's the driver to take you on the drive that you want to go on with me. He doesn't know how to do it. He lacks empathy. He can't respond to her needs. Trying to explain away abuse as a mental, emotional, or personality disorder does not help. It doesn't help. Abusers are narcissistic, but abusers could also be codependents. So it's not that you have a disorder that makes you do this. Sometimes people are fully aware of what they're doing. They're enjoying it. They find entertainment in it. It's funny to them. You see the way Kanye West fans are responding to his behavior. Even other celebrities are saying, hey, go get your woman back. Isn't that what Nick Cannon said? Go get your woman back. This is a woman who has said plainly, I want to be divorced. I want to be free of him. I cannot take this anymore. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. I want to be free. I want to be myself. I want my name back. I want to be declared single. I need this to be over with because it is hurting. It hurts. Not only does it hurt, but it's embarrassing. Not only is it embarrassing, but it causes people to feel some kind of way about you because maybe this isn't your first divorce. And I've been divorced, married and divorced several times. And yeah, it's a little embarrassing. But you know what's more embarrassing? Staying in a marriage where you're being used, where you're being tortured and being abused because you're afraid of people seeing you fail at something again. That's worse. And think about this real tough. When evaluating a person who lies to you purposely, like the narcissistic abuser does, a person who doubles down on lies, they are preying on your sympathy and energy reserve. It's not only the lie that's the problem. It's that you're being made to feel that you should give something to someone when they haven't earned it. Whether it's time, sympathy. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can come over and we can talk about this for hours and hours and days and weeks and not have anything resolved whatsoever. Emotion, money. Narcissists love to take money from people. They love it. They love to drain people, not only of their energy, but their bank accounts. They'll put you in credit card debt. You'll be in bankruptcy and they'll be off to the next. They do not care. They don't care if you go broke. Because you going broke means they've gotten from you what they wanted. They may have gotten the trips and the clothes and the accoutrement or the electronics or the house or the car. They don't care. Or they've used your money and your good credit to get a business loan, open a business in your name. They've got bills in your name, cell phone bills, electric. They don't care. They'll just ruin you, go on to someone else, and you'll let them because maybe you don't recognize what's happening. Maybe you don't care because you're so in love, you're so dizzy in love, or but it's my mom, it's my dad. Oh, but it's my son who's 45 years old, and he's still borrowing money from me so that he can get his business off the ground. And it's been 10 years, and all he does is take the money and buy marijuana. And he's still living with you. And you're in debt. And you're still working. And you're 75 years old. It's unacceptable behavior and should not be rewarded with more sympathy or emotions or money or time. Listen, we all lie. We all do, okay? Let's just dispense with that. We all lie, big lies, little lies. Narcissists are pathological liars. Always lying. Everything is a lie. Everything. Everything they tell you is a lie. Everything they do is because they've lied to someone to be able to do this. Those are the lies that are dangerous. They put other people on guard, uncomfortable positions, right? They put you in uncomfortable positions. But they also put you on guard. They make you defensive. And narcissists, just as they don't admit and take responsibility for their actions, they don't want to admit that they lied. You could corner them. They'll come up with something right on the spot, or they'll blame you. I had to lie to you because if I had told you the truth, it would have hurt you. You would have started crying. You would have been a mess, and I couldn't. So I had to lie. Imagine someone blaming you for them lying. Lord above. Narcissists also don't want you talking to anyone who would have a negative opinion of them or a story about them to tell you. That's why they often will reinvent themselves in another city or another country. They'll go somewhere where nobody knows what they've done. Nobody has seen them. Nobody recognizes them. They can get away with it once again. Or they'll create these internet personas. They'll just steal somebody's pictures and they'll be catfishing. Catfishing. Catfish, though, can be kind of like, it could be narcissist, it could be codependent, it could be another kind of personality disorder. It's not always narcissism. But people just, even when they get found out, they don't care that they've hurt you. They don't care that they've wasted your time. That's narcissism. That's toxic, pathological narcissism. But then there are people who get found out and they feel bad and they show remorse and they don't do it again. One major narcissist we've seen in the news, if people are looking for an example, I won't talk about Donald Trump because fuck Donald Trump. I've talked about him enough in other places. But a friend of his, Vladimir Putin, is textbook prime example of a toxic narcissist. He has every single trait. He lies, he uses, he manipulates, he gaslights. He oppresses people, he abuses, just on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Right now, Russia, as the aggressor, has started a war with the Ukraine because years and years and years ago, when Russia was part of the USSR, the United Socialist Soviet Republic, and it was just a giant conglomerate of a bunch of different regions, and there were no separate nations. There was just this big, and then there was Russia, and then there was just all these little regions around it. There was somehow, I say somehow because it took really a lot of effort, but the USSR was broken up. It took a lot of diplomacy. It took a lot of talking to Gorbachev, who was the leader at the time when Reagan was president, and he would say, Gorbachev, tear down that wall and break up these nations, break up these regions and let them be their own countries and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm doing a very poor job of describing what happened. I know. But the point is, the USSR was one, and then it was a bunch of different countries who gained their independence. Now, there are some Russians who were fine with it. There were some Russian leaders who were not, and Putin is one of them. He believes that all of the countries that were once a part of the USSR are Russian land and they belong to Russia, and that he will have them back as part of Russia by hook or by crook. And there are lots of people who are on his side because they believe, in the might of the wealthy, powerful, white man. They believe in that. They hold on to that because that's going to save so many people. They don't care about independence. They don't care about freedom. Although in America, it's it's interesting that people don't care about other people's freedom abroad, but they care about freedom here. They don't care about democracy abroad, only democracy here, but then they use democracy as a crutch to explain their racist, sexist, and other behavior. They lean on that as, well, I can say what I want. I can do what I want. This is a democracy. This is America. But they don't want to see that abroad. When it was the USSR and it was a socialist conglomerate, socialism is something that Americans consider to be very bad. Most Americans, oh, you're a socialist. Don't be a socialist. But that's what Russia wants to be. They want to go back to the USSR. So why are you saying, okay, don't be socialist? It can't be that you don't want it here, but you want it over there. You support it over there, but not over here. Well, if it's good enough to be over there, why isn't it good enough to be over here? Because people are dumb and they don't know what they're talking about. And they're mixed up and they're only supporting it because whatever is on the other side, if they're Republican, whatever the left or the Democrats support, it must be bad. So if Democrats want freedom for all of these countries that Vladimir Putin is trying to take over, well, then we want to be on Putin's side, right? He fought wars in several little Muslim regions, including Chechnya, and he won. Because, Chechnya is small. What are they going to do? And he really bombed the fuck out of them. And now he's using the Chechen army to go after Ukrainians on Ukrainian soil. And it's very sad because these are Muslims, number one. But again, Muslims are just people. And number two, they were in a war. They know what this is like. Why are they doing this? Why are they not laying down their arms? Because they know they'll be crushed if they don't comply. And in an effort to overcome the Ukrainian people, Vladimir Putin hopped on state TV and urged Ukrainian soldiers to give up their fight against Russian forces. Why? Because the government is full of neo-Nazis and drug addicts. Like he said this out of his own mouth. But this is what he has to do. He has to spread propaganda. He has to turn people against their own government and against their neighbors and countrymen and soldiers to get them on his side so that he can more easily take over because the people won't put up a fight because they'll be like, yes, yes, please come in. And I don't know why he believes this is going to work because Ukrainian people are fucking Ukrainian, okay? They don't want to be Russian. There are a lot of Ukrainians who speak Russian. Yeah, because it was once all a part of Russia. It was all one big conglomerate and it goes way back, centuries back. But they're Ukrainian now. They're independent. They want to be independent. They don't want to be under Putin. They don't want to be under him. And this is what they're being threatened with. They've been threatened with this for about 25 years. 25 fucking years. They've been waiting to see if somebody was going to invade them and take them over. Imagine being on the precipice of war for 25 years. And when people see Putin on the news on state TV describing the Ukrainian government as neo-Nazis and drug addicts, I mean, people here at home, because we don't read shit, because we only watch the Fox News, or we're only reading, whatever the propagandist newspaper where everything on the left is bad, or freedom is bad, or, anything that's not Christian is bad, because we're only looking at that. Well, we're like, oh, okay, well, he's right. And he knows, because he's a white Christian male from a white Christian nation. We'll take his word for it. Never mind the fact that he's just literally crushing people to death with tanks and bombs and tanks and bombs. It's like that song Zombie from the Cranberries, with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs. That is what he's doing. And he's only doing it because he wants what he believes is his land back. But it's not his. These people earned their freedom. The USSR was broken up. These people earned their freedom. They're free, and they want to remain free, and they have every right to be free. No one should be under anybody. No one should be under anybody by force. And because he can't do it by force, he's going to use propaganda. He's going to use gaslighting. He's going to use mind control. He's going to use arms. He's going to do whatever it is he believes he needs to do to accomplish this. And he's already got people in the U.S. on his side. And of course, Donald Trump is on his side, because Donald Trump helped him when he was in office. Donald Trump helped Putin, however you say it. Forgive me. I don't give a shit. He's a piece of shit. Donald Trump, the first time he was impeached was because he took away arms from the Ukraine. He took away security from the Ukraine unlawfully withdrew security from the Ukraine. He did it in such a dirty and low down way that it literally put these people, the Ukrainian people, in danger, immediate danger. And he didn't care. He thought he did the right thing. He thought he did the right thing because it felt good, because Putin said, and Putin was in his ear. Putin, the same Putin who interfered in the U.S. elections in 2016, and nothing happened to him. Yeah, he interfered in our elections. That's been proven. Whoever says it didn't happen, you're full of shit. It happened, and nothing happened to this man. Narcissists of Putin's type can make you believe anything. Anything. They'll make you believe that there are neo-Nazis in your government and that they're all drug addicts. Or like Kanye West said, that slavery was a choice. They wanted to be enslaved, so they didn't fight back. Or that Jews could have run and saved themselves from Hitler's ovens. Or that racism doesn't exist, it's all in your head. That's not racism. I don't have a racist bone in my body. Oh, please. That's how I talk about everyone. I have a black friend. It's all in your head, and you're programmed to believe that, the world does not like you because you're black. And what are we being told by people who are on Putin's side? That U.S. foreign policy allowed Putin to willy-nilly invade the Ukraine. Well, that is kind of true, because a certain former president, Donald Trump, as I said before, put the Ukraine at a severe security risk. And he was impeached for it because it was so awful and so bad that somebody had to be brought to pay for this. And it was Donald Trump. And though he was found not guilty, it's still a stain on him. And I said I wasn't going to talk about him because I can't stand that dude. But there are pundits, who laud Putin. These people are never wrong. People like Putin are never wrong. They're masterful. They're powerful. these toxic narcissists, these pathological narcissists. They're to be hailed and praised. And the enemy are the people who speak against them. You know who else was lauded before he was murdered? Before he was captured and killed? When he was serving their purpose, he was fine. But when he wanted more power and he was invading other nations to get the power, suddenly he was not desired as a person who should be in a position of power anymore. We got to get rid of him. Who could I be talking about? Saddam Hussein. Yeah. And Muammar Gaddafi. Remember him? Even Idi Amin. Remember him? Even fucking Hitler and Mussolini. People lauded them, latched onto them, praised them. Didn't pay any attention to what these people were doing until too many people were dying. They were getting too powerful. Or the war had come to the United States, so now the United States wants to get involved. That was World War II. When Saddam Hussein decided that he wanted more power and more oil and more land, and he invaded Kurdistan, and he was making the Kurds in his region in Iraq sign forms that said that they were Arab or else. Okay, that's too much. That's too much. Okay, it's time to get rid of this guy. It's fine when these people are doing, just enough hate, just enough killing, just enough. There's a tolerable amount of violence. There's a tolerable amount of violence. There's a tolerable amount of mind control. There's a tolerable amount. As long as they're staying in their little borders, it's fine. As long as they are in their borders, it's fine. North Korea, in their borders, fine. China, in their borders, fine. As long as they keep it in their borders, in their region, it's okay. But Putin, for some reason, he's out of his borders. He's spreading his hatred for independence of these European nations, and he's threatening them. If you want to join NATO, forget it. I'll crush you. Finland wants to join NATO. They're afraid to because they don't want to be invaded by Putin. The Ukraine wanted to join NATO too. And this is why Putin advanced on them like this. Because, oh, fuck, you're not going to join NATO. You're not going to get armed against me, because if you join NATO and I invade you, then all of these NATO nations are going to come after me. So no, you're not joining NATO, and I'm going to stop you. As a matter of fact, you're going to join Russia again. You're going to be a part of Russia again. Here's your notice. And the notice is a bomb. The notice is a tank. The notice is your borders being breached by tanks and men in armor. But there's a fascination with these people. People who support personalities like this, like Putin and like Trump and Mussolini and Hitler. There's a fascination with these people, these wealthy people, specifically men, though they're domineering, controlling, egotistical, maniacal. They're doing something right. You know, Kim Jong-un, have you seen him with the celebrities when they come to visit, like Dennis Rodman? Oh, he's a great guy. Kim Jong-un, he's a great guy. He's my friend. I played basketball. We played basketball together. We shoot hoops together. He's a great guy. He's not what people make him out to be. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Sure. He's not the murdering, controlling, domineering, egotistical oppressor. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by my app telling me that I had recorded too much and it was time to put the microphone down. My gosh, I was really getting somewhere. I had a groove and everything, and it was like, it's time to stop. It's been an hour and such, and you've talked to these people for too long, so we're going to stop. But I'm going to just add this as an addendum, a part 2 to my discussion. Somehow the Anchor app will somehow blend this all together and make it sound lovely and wonderful, and that makes me feel so good because my F-ups, they can fix and I can fix and whatever. So as I was saying before, we can see Putin on TV and in the news. He's meeting with world leaders at these summits and he's greeting celebrities and they're all fascinated with him. People are fascinated and repulsed by him equally, but they'll still talk about him. I'm talking about him now. Can't stand the motherfucker. And I'm talking about him because I want people to know that this behavior is dangerous and I want them to not emulate it. I don't want people to praise it. I don't want people to find it praiseworthy, trustworthy. I don't want people to trust men and women like Putin. And as I said before, women are a part of this narcissism game as well as men. It does not discriminate. I was reading an article that an author named Michael Kurt wrote online when he was discussing Putin's narcissism. He said that Putin's alpha male persona continues to be cultivated, as we've seen in the news. He is extremely egocentric, and he exudes confidence and arrogance without trying to hide it. He actually wants himself somehow to be seen as a sex symbol, which is like embarrassing, but he wants everyone to think he's strong and manly, even if this is often perceived as a caricature of how a man should act in the Western world. But, as Kurt points out, alpha males act protective versus a pathological narcissist who operates without empathy. Putin does not feel guilt or shame, which makes him a psychopath, really. But the deep infatuation from other world leaders and people in other countries and followers, it props him up. And it props up other pathological narcissists, other figures who are pathological narcissists. Genuflecting, look that up. Genuflecting to them puts them above truly important figures in your life. You may neglect the people you're in charge of, the people you're supposed to care for. You may neglect your children. You may neglect your pets. But most of all, you're going to neglect yourself because you're spending all of your time on this narcissist. You're trying to fix them, trying to love them through whatever. You're going everywhere they tell you to go. They're sending you to and fro. And you may view people who are the opposite of people like Putin. You may view those people as weak because they're weak for showing compassion and humility, empathy, and measured temperament. You don't want someone who feels sorry for people. You want someone who feels nothing, who really, they're like Teflon, the Teflon Don. Nothing touches them. They don't feel anything for anybody. They're not beholden to anyone. They don't have to show compassion. They don't have to show that they care, even for you. You don't care that they don't care about you because they just exude this confidence and it's just amazing and you're drawn to it and you're attracted to it and you're fascinated by it. And they build this personality that, it's bigger than a celebrity. It's a cult of personality, really. And it blinds you. It's back to the star again, the big star that's dwarfing the little star and the little star is dying, but it's still fascinated with this big star. It doesn't know that it's being drowned out, that it's being killed. You don't know that you're being minimized, that your needs are not being met, that you're not getting what you want, that you're not taking care of yourself, that you're slowly shrinking and dying. You don't notice it because this other person is so big and they've caught your attention so well that you're not paying attention to yourself. You're not taking care of the things you're supposed to take care of. That's why being entangled with a narcissist is dangerous because they make you forget about yourself. They make you forget that you exist. They make you forget to love yourself, to care about your personal needs, to care about your job, your clothes. They make you neglect your finances. They make you neglect school. They make you neglect friendships, familial ties. They'll isolate you from people. They'll convince you of things that aren't true. They'll lie to you, manipulate you, gaslight you, truly gaslight you. And they'll do it in such a way that maybe you notice it and don't care, and maybe you don't notice it. They'll make it look so natural. They'll make it seem so natural. And before you know it, they've completely taken over your life. They've completely become the master over you, the Lord over you. And you allow it to happen because for whatever reason, you think you can't break away. You're too weak, or you have some ties to them, or you have you have children with them, or you share a dog with them, or a cat with them, or a house with them. You feel guilty for walking away. You feel guilty for loving yourself. Can you imagine? Lord above, you feel guilty for loving yourself, for showing yourself a little bit of love and attention, because they make you feel guilty every time you're not spending every ounce of love and attention on them. When you're not meeting their needs, they make you feel guilty. They deflate your self-esteem. They diminish your self-worth. They debase you, degrade you, abandon you, withdraw communication. And if you're entangled with a narcissist, you have to be empowered and strong. Otherwise, these lies that they tell you about yourself, you're going to take them personally. You're going to believe them. You're going to believe every lie that they tell you, and it's going to become you. The lie is going to become what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself. Staying beholden to a narcissist means you do not put yourself first. You agree to things you wouldn't otherwise agree to if you were not being manipulated and strangled into submission. You're powerless. Your guilt and perhaps low self-esteem and naivete keep you chained to a narcissist. Their chaos and drama attracts you. But again, you want to fix them. You want to fix them. You truly believe that you can fix these people, but you cannot fix them. I don't know if you know this or not, but there is no cure for a personality disorder. That's you. There's no cure. Because the things that you needed to have so that you did not develop this disorder, you needed to have them years before you realized there was a problem. In childhood, you needed to have these things. Or you developed this out of abuse you faced, some trauma you faced. There's no cure for it. The only thing that can help it, can manage it, is therapy. But a lot of people with personality disorders don't see that they need therapy, so they're not going to get therapy. So they're just going to be these pieces of shit for the rest of their lives. And they don't care. Again, they do not care. They don't have to care. They don't have to care that they're not good people because there aren't people around them turning them away. There aren't people coming up to them and saying, no, I don't want to have anything to do with you. There aren't enough of those people. For every 5 people they find who say that, there are 10 or 15 who are like, yeah, come on, be my friend, sleep on my couch, eat my food, put your cell phone in my name. I used to do that shit. I used to have all kinds of shit in my name. I mean, I just thought that I could love anybody through anything. I thought that I had to be the helper and the fixer and the lover and all of this craziness. And I neglected myself, didn't take care of myself. I had, was gaining weight and all this. It was just madness. It was madness how narcissists can take over. They take over. Imagine you're a little sea and the narcissist is an ocean and the waves just come in and engulf you. And that's it. And you're not the little sea anymore. You're a part of this big ocean, but you're still having to feed the big ocean. You're still having to go out and provide and pay the big ocean's bills. Lord have mercy. So you truly have to love yourself because these people will not love you. They cannot love you. They won't love you. You have to get out and away from them. You have to block them on everything. You have to block them on your phone. You have to block their emails. You have to block them on social media, and they'll keep creating personas to get to you. They'll change their number to get to you. Hell, they might buy the house across the street from you to get to you. You have to break out of your codependent ways and learn to love yourself and put yourself first so that you are not susceptible to a narcissist who will only put themselves first. Narcissists, again, do not love you. They do not care about you. I know it may seem that way. And they may even say, I love you, but they do not love you because someone who loves you will not do to you the things that these people are doing to you. They won't ruin your credit. They won't debase you. They won't abuse you. They won't take advantage of you. They won't find entertainment in what they're doing to you. They do not love you. They do not care about you. You have to detach from them. You have to block them. You have to erect strong boundaries. You have to be the wall. You have to be the wall. Remember Gorbachev, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. You have to build a wall so strong that you are impenetrable, that there is nothing that they can do to get to you. They'll use your family to send messages to you. They'll befriend your friends. They'll befriend your family members and say, hey, how is so-and-so doing? You think you could pass a message to her for me? You don't want to hear anything about these people. You don't care. You don't want to be bothered with them because you know that any little thing gives them an in. You cannot have any communication with them. In fact, they don't even know how to communicate with you. They don't know how to communicate fully with anybody. So trying to talk to them and reason with them and show them the way, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. Do not accept gifts from them. Don't seek closure from them. Do not meet up to pick up your shit that you left at their house. They got a box of stuff that they left at your house, burn it. What stuff? Exactly. If they owe you money, forgive the debt, let it go, move on. Bye. No. You don't need anything else from them. You don't owe them anything. They don't owe you nothing. Forgiven, forgotten, move on. There's no reason for you to have any contact with these people any longer whatsoever. If you have kids with them, do it through the courts. Do it through your lawyers. Don't have any contact with them. Don't have any contact with them. Don't show up with your revenge body. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. They'll just see it as another angle for them to get to where they want to get. Oh, look, now she's beautiful and fancy. Now, ooh, she's built herself back up. Well, here I go, tearing her down again. Or they'll use you to make someone jealous. See, yeah, I got this girl. She came back to me and she looks so good. And look, everybody, look what I can do. Look what I got. Again, it's all about them. It comes right back to them every time. It's about what they're trying to show the world. Then they'll use you to do it. They don't care about you. Again, they do not care about you. They do not love you. They lie to you. They bleed you dry. They empty you. They take from you. They do not give. They are not interested in you for any reason other than to use you. And that is all. You cannot impress them. They're not impressed by anything that you do because they are jealous of you, really. They're repulsed by you, really, but they see what you can do as an opportunity to do something for themselves. All they want to do is rise above you and lord it over you. They want to be the Lord over you, really. These types of people you can dispense with completely. Immediately, really, but completely. You do not need these people in your life for any reason whatsoever. You don't need them. You don't need someone in your life who is just there to use you. I know some people will go, I don't mind being used because, the trade-off. You know what the trade-off is? You don't recognize yourself because you've given your soul to this soul sucker. Maybe the sex is good, fine, whatever. But when you wake up and you don't recognize yourself, you hate yourself, you feel disgusted with yourself for doing it, then you should stop. Lots of other ways to get off out there. You don't need a soul sucker. You don't need someone who's only pretending that they like you, who's only pretending to love you to get ahead, who's using you. You don't need someone who is using you. And I know you don't need me to tell you that, but people still out there being used and abused for the sport, for the entertainment of these narcissists, and it's disgusting and it's awful and it's dangerous. People are dying. There are countries being invaded. There are people who are committing suicide because they think they're crazy, because someone told them they're crazy, because their friend sent them text messages saying, yeah, okay, go ahead, kill yourself. Kill yourself. Yes, do it, yes. You seen that story? That girl, she was convicted. I can't remember what she was convicted of, but she had encouraged her best friend in his suicide, and he killed himself. And she was put on trial for her role in his death. Imagine being so disgusting, so lacking in empathy and care for another human being that you encourage them to commit suicide, and they do it. That girl probably don't feel a damn thing. She don't feel no kind of way. You see her at the court hearing, she just looked dead behind the eyes. These people do not care about you. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your financial goals, because they're going to tear them down, because they're going to take all of your money. They're going to destroy you if you let them. You don't have to let them. Get rid of them. People like Putin, you can't, at this point, it is what it is. He's in power, and probably the only thing that's going to stop him is if he's taken out. Or maybe if enough of the Russian people decide that they're fucking tired of being used and treated poorly by their leader and dragged into war after war after war after war, that they're going to get rid of this guy. Who knows? Who knows? Only God knows, really. But for you, you have control over yourself. You can decide who you want in your life. But I'm telling you right now, you don't want these people in your life. You don't need them. And with that, I will say good night. And thank you guys for listening. I always say good night because I do record this at night, because nighttime is the only time I get quiet and peace in my house. And I don't have to hear people walking around or opening and closing refrigerator doors ad nauseum. And so, yeah, good night. And I will see you all next week. Take care.